44-year-old Bassirou Faye on Tuesday was sworn in as Senegal's 5th president, with his 2 wives flanked by his sides as first ladies. Faye took the oath of office to become the 5th president of Senegal, 17 days after his release from jail as a political prisoner, alongside his comrade and strong supporter, Ousmane Sonko. The 44-year-old took the oath at Diamniadio in Dakar, the Senegal state capital. Sonko has since been named by Faye as the Prime Minister of Senegal. It could be remembered that Faye was released from prison less than 2 weeks before the election, alongside with his mentor and well-known opposition leader to the government in power, Ousmane Sonko, following a political amnesty announced by the then president, Macky Sall. It could also be recalled that their arrest sparked months of protests and concerns that Sall could seek for 3rd term in office above the term limits permitted by Senegal law. It was reported that dozens of the protesters were killed and about 1,000 were jailed. The youngest elected president, Faye, was not too known until Sonko, a popular opposition figure who came 3rd in the previous election in 2019, named him to run in his place after being barred from the election for a prior conviction. Faye was sworn in by members of the Constitutional Council and the Grand Chancellor. The swearing-in ceremony took place in Diamniadio, in the presence of a host of heads of state and government with the mutual agreement of the outgoing president. Bassirou Faye, flanked by his wives, Marie-Con Faye and Absa Faye, posed for photographs after his swearing-in as Senegal's president at an exhibition center in the new town of Diamniadio near the capital Dakar on April 2, 2024. Faye married Marie, 15 years ago, and Absa, whom he married last year. The 2 women are apparently presented for the title of First Lady. Bassirou Faye was sworn in on April 2, 2024 as Senegal's youngest president after sweeping to a first-round victory on a pledge of radical reform 10 days after he was released from prison. According to international news agency, Faye won a landslide against the ruling party candidate, former Prime Minister Amadou Ba, in a vote that pivoted on the frustration of Senegalese youth over a lack of jobs and poor governance in one of the world's fastest-growing economies. About a fifth of the population is unemployed and more than a third of the nation's 18 million inhabitants live in poverty, according to official data. I am aware that the results from the ballot express a deep desire for systemic change, Faye said in his inauguration speech in the capital, Dakar. Through my election, the Senegalese people have engaged in the construction of a just Senegal, a prosperous Senegal. A 44-year-old former tax inspector, Faye has never held public office and was relatively unknown until late last year, when fireman opposition leader Ousmane Sonko, who was jailed after being convicted of libel and his party was dissolved, backed him to run for president. He won the presidency less than 3 weeks after he was released from prison to run in last month's election. Before God and the Senegalese nation, I swear to faithfully fulfill the office of President of the Republic of Senegal, the 44-year-old said before hundreds of officials and several African heads of state at an exhibition center in the new town of Diamniadio near the capital Dakar. Macky Sall was said to have traveled through the airport in Dakar after handing over the presidency and the presidential palace to President Bassirou Faye. Earlier video showed the president-elect, Bassirou Faye's visit to the presidential palace ahead of the Tuesday's handover ceremony. The 44-year-old incoming president, who was released from detention barely 10 days to the election, was seemingly seen to have won a bulletproof vest on his chest area. Hills captured the swearing-in ceremony and reported thus, in a historic moment for Senegal, Bassirou Faye, once an opposition candidate who had previously been jailed, took the oath of office to become the nation's youngest president. At the age of 44, Faye assumes leadership with a resounding mandate, having secured victory in the March 24th election. His campaign resonated with a populace yearning for change, a desire that reverberated across Senegal's diverse landscape of approximately 18 million people. Faye's opponent, Amadou Ba, representing the ruling coalition of outgoing President Macky Sall, faced a decisive defeat in the first round of voting. During the inauguration ceremony held in Dakar, Faye stood before dignitaries from across Africa and beyond. Notable attendees included Nigeria's President, Bola Tinubu, Ghana's President, Nana Akufo-Addo, and African Union Commission Chair, Musa Faki Mahamat. Even military representatives from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger were present, underscoring the significance of this peaceful transition of power. Senegal, a nation that has weathered political turbulence in recent years, now looks to Faye for stability and progress. His promise to uphold an independent justice system, foster a stronger democracy, and manage affairs ethically resonates with a population eager for positive change. Amidst the challenges faced by the region, Faye's vision is one of hope, a vision that seeks to build a peaceful, prosperous Senegal for generations to come. Vanguard newspaper captured a brief history of young African leaders and showed Faye as the youngest among democratically elected presidents in Africa continent. The news article reads thus: Ibrahim Traoré has been the military and interim leader of Burkina Faso since the 30th of September 2022. Traoré ousted the former interim president Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba through a coup d'etat at the age of 34. Born on the 14th of March 1988, Traoré is a 36-year-old Burkinabe leader and currently the youngest southern president in Africa. Mahamat Idris, Kaka, Demi Itno is a 4-star military general serving as the transitional president of Chad. He was born on April 4, 1984. Aged 39, he gained power as the president of the Transitional Military Council on the 20th of April 2021. He ascended into power when his father, the late Chadian President Idriss Déby, died in action while commanding troops in the Northern Chad offensive. He is the second youngest Southern African leader. Assimi Goïta is a military officer who has been interim president of Mali since the 28th of May 2021. Goïta became the Malian leader following the military takeover he led against former President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta in 2020. He was the leader of the National Committee for the Salvation of the People. Goïta was born in 1983, and being 41, he is the third youngest Southern African leader. Mamadi Doumbouya is a military officer serving as the interim president of Guinea since the 1st of October 2021. Doumbouya led a coup d'état on the 5th of September 2021 that ousted the previous president, Alpha Condé. He is a member of the Special Forces Group of the Guinean military and a former French legionnaire. He was born on March 4, 1980, which makes him the 4th youngest leader on the African continent. Aged 44, Bassirou Diomaye Diakhar Faye is the 5th and current president of Senegal, sworn in on April 2, 2024. He is a lawyer, tax inspector, and politician who ran for the office of the president in place of disqualified candidate Ousmane Sonko. He was born on March 25, 1980. Faye is Africa's youngest democratically elected president and 5th youngest leader on the dark continent. Abiy Ahmed is a politician serving as the 3rd Prime Minister of Ethiopia since 2018. He has been the leader of the Prosperity Party since 2019. Ahmed is a computer engineer and military officer. He was awarded the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to achieve peace and international cooperation, and in particular for his decisive initiative to resolve the border conflict with neighboring Eritrea. Ahmed was born on the 15th of August 1976, and he is the 6th youngest African leader. Aged 47, André Mirina Rajoelina is a Malagasy French politician and businessman who has served as president of Madagascar since 2019. He was president of a provisional government from 2009 to 2014 following a political crisis and military-backed coup. He once held the office of mayor of Antananarivo for 1 year. Before venturing into politics, Rajoelina was a media and advertising entrepreneur. He was born on the 30th of May 1974 and is currently the 7th youngest African leader, aged 49. Meanwhile, Faye is not the only African leader who had more than one wife. Details of the African leaders who had more than one wife is captured by Emeka Nweze as presented below. King Swati, the third, of Swaziland is considered as an undisputed king of polygamy. Swati became the youngest world leader when he ascended the throne at the age of 18 in 1986. As tradition demands, Swati is reportedly mandated to pick a new wife every year from the virgins who partake in the traditional chastity rites held at the Lunsizini Royal Palace. Since his reign, it is believed he has married 14 women, divorced 3 and lost 1 to suicide. Also, the former president of South Africa, who resigned in February 2018 while facing a vote of no confidence, is another well-known polygamist. Zuma has been married to 6 women with 21 children. In 2009 to 2010, Zuma received a budget of £1.2 million for spousal support, almost twice the amount paid during the terms in office of Thabo Mbeki and Kgalema Motlanthe. This raised concerns about the amount of state support his wives received. Before Jomo Kenyatta became the Prime Minister of Kenya in 1963, he had already been married to 4 women. He married his first wife, Grace Wahu, in 1919. In 1942, he married Englishwoman Edna Grace Clark, whom he divorced 4 years later. A third wife came in 1950 when a senior chief gave Kenyatta one of his daughters to take as wife. He married his fourth and last wife, Mama Angina, a student at the Teacher Training College where he was teaching, in 1951. Adama Barrow, Gambia's president who was elected into office in 2017, is another African leader with more than one wife. His marriage to his 2 wives, Fatuba and Sadio Umbalo, was a controversial topic during the presidential elections in 2017. The confusion centered around which of his wives would be the first lady, but he later clarified the situation by saying that the first wife would bear the title. Yahya Jammeh was exiled to Equatorial Guinea with his family after being ousted by a West African joint force in 2017. However, while in power he was married 3 times and 2 of them ended in divorce. More so, one of his wives was reported to have been 18 at the time of marriage. It was also widely reported by the Ghanaian media that he had married 22-year-old Ghanaian called Nora in 2012. This report was however not confirmed.
OsazuwaAkonedo, bringing you the news in a more digital way.